The big win for Liverpool, 1-0 against Brentford. They closed the gap in the top four race to 1 point behind Manchester United. And as I stated just 3 or 4 games ago for Liverpool, their top four hopes were alive. They are alive. They are kicking right now. With Man United's form being sketchy at best, there may be 2 games in hand, but as we always state on the football terrace, points on the board are worth more. That's 6 wins on the bounce now for Jurgen Klopp's men since he made those tactical changes that his fans have been asking for all year. As soon as he moved Trent out of predominantly sitting in that right back position, as soon as he had more play in the midfield, this Liverpool team has gone to another level. Now, they're still shaky. There are still holes. There are still problems to be resolved in the transfer window by Jurgen Klopp. But this Liverpool team is hunting down a top 4 position. And with 4 games to go for them now? I think they're on 34, 35. They've got 3 games remaining, 9 points more available. Who's really going to bet against them getting all 9 points now? They are probably going to end this season somewhere around that 70-point mark. Man United need to win at least 3, maybe 4, at least maybe 3, maybe 4 of their next 5 games that they've got remaining in this, because Liverpool are hunting them down. And even Newcastle can't relax just yet. I know they've got games in hand as well, but they have to win them, because Liverpool did this a couple of seasons ago with winning 10 or so games straight on the bounce and grabbing a top 4 position out of nowhere. They have one of the best managers in the world. They have some of the best players in the world, and they're starting to click, and they're starting to get better. And I know a lot of Liverpool fans want to play this down. I know a lot of Liverpool fans, some don't want to kind of talk about it in case it doesn't happen. But with the quality of their team, with their manager, the 6 wins on the bounce, there is no way that this cannot be a talking point now. They're hunting Manchester United down. They're hunting Newcastle United down. And of course, they want that Champions League spot next year. It's going to be hugely important for them in terms of the window. We know what FSG do in terms of their economic standpoint, the lack of investment at times. No Champions League football may hinder the rebuild slightly, because we know what they're like, just like the Glazers at times at Manchester United. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. In terms of the game, look, I thought Liverpool were really good in the opening 15, 20 minutes. I felt like once they scored, a little bit like against Tottenham, against Nottingham Forest, it's slightly the same against Fulham in the week as well. They become a little bit complacent. They become a little bit lax. They're not Liverpool at the moment can't do what they were doing last season or 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, where they're taking leads and then they control the game and your opponents look like they're out of the match. Brentford always looked in it tonight. And that's probably the one reason why some may say that they can't win their next 3 and do 9 wins on the bounce, not with being that susceptible and gettable within games. You've got to remember, though, this collective group has a winner's mentality. This collective group has won multiple trophies under Klopp. They've seen out title races, or at the very least, in 2 of their title races with City, they went to the wire and they didn't really crumble per se. So they know how to get through these moments. They know how to win in the run-in. And it's one of the reasons why, and I was so impressed with Mo Salah again today. Yes, only got 1 goal. But the reason I was really impressed with Mo Salah was simply and utterly because he knows what to do in these big games. He knows what to do in the run-in. Now, the run-in right now isn't for the Premier League title, but it's the clinched top 4. And it's why goals at this time of the season, in my opinion, are worth more than 10 goals. And if you score 5, 6, 7 goals in the last 10 games in a run-in when your team is playing for something, they're more valuable than the same amount of goals in the opening 10 games, because they get you over the line. They're being scored during high-pressured moments. And that's why Mo Salah is one of the best players that Liverpool have ever had. In my opinion, he's their greatest ever Premier League player, and he's delivering again for them in a team that just isn't that well gelled. And he's kind of been criticised, Mo Salah, this year about, not having a great season, not performing particularly well. And for me, I very much look at it as the Liverpool haven't performed well. He's been very good. Of course, he's had bad games, because this is a team sport. And if your midfield and your defense is a calamity, it makes it hard. There's no foundation to build for the front men. But overall, he's had a fantastic season, all things being considered. And just wait to what he could do next year. Wait to what he could do next year if this team starts cooking with a good summer transfer window. It could be scary times again for a lot of rivals because I think there was this hope that Liverpool fell off this year, and that's it. And we do this every time a team drops off a little bit. That's it. They're gone. They won't come back. This Liverpool team has got life in them yet because Jurgen Klopp has done again what he did back in sort of 2017. He's listened and he's made the adjustments. And a lot of people felt like the players weren't playing for him. They were bored of the tactics. They didn't like the high line, Trent at right back, the midfield having no real creativity or play through it. And it was like a boredom. But he's made some subtle changes. And they always say that change is as good as a rest. So these players look refreshed because there's been that change. And Trent's new role, the inverted fullback, we're not going to give it a new name. It's what it is. Multiple other teams have done it. Klopp has now followed suit. And Liverpool just look a different animal at times. There is still holes. Not denying that. That's personnel. That's just bringing better quality players in. Curtis Jones has played well in the last few games, but then he's better than him. You look at the front line, there needs to be big improvements in Gakpo and Darwin Núñez next year, especially when it comes to their hold-up and build-up play. I think new additions are needed in the defense as well. It's just looking a bit rusty and a little bit old. But if Liverpool spend well in the summer, using Trent in this new role with the power up front of Mohamed Salah that we saw today, there's still a brilliant, brilliant team in here that can challenge for all honours. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And as I say, a few people are saying, why am I having to go at Trent? I'm not. I'm praising Trent in his new role. You're getting the very best out of him. We saw it again today. It was one loose ball in the second half, but I'm not going to nitpick because I don't agree with nitpicking when it comes to a player's performance. You know, most players will make a mistake like that in a game. It's fairly regular. But he's just got great control. He drifts from left to right. He's a wonderful playmaker. People told me he didn't have the subtlety to be a midfielder. I've never really agreed with that. He doesn't have the defensive awareness to be a defender. It's just defensive awareness. But if you're the playmaker in midfield, your job isn't even to be that defensively minded in that role the majority of the time. So, yeah, very, very impressed with him again today. There's no doubt about it. And they had a great shot towards the end and whatever else. And it's no surprise to me that now there's a playmaker that predominantly is on that right-hand side that you're now getting the best out of Mo Salah again. When he was being used earlier on in the season as a playmaker, which is not his main attribute, you're not going to get the most out of him. If you just use Haaland all year as a target man to flick balls on and to create for others, he'd get some assists and he's very good at doing that. But he would never get 51 plus goals across all competitions. That's what he's best at doing. Same with Mo Salah. Get the best out of him that you can. Get the best out of him that you can. We are on your next, Terry. Yeah, you are. And look, Liverpool are a better team than Man United. Liverpool fans have told me that all year. We're only where we are because you've dropped off. You're not dropping off anymore. Come for us. You know, we've got 2 games in hand, and look, one of them is at home against Chelsea, which I'm not going to call easy, but you should be beating them. We're away to West Ham tomorrow. Very hard game away from home. But if United pick up 3 points tomorrow, then beat Wolves at home, most people would say it's pretty much done at that point with you guys only having 3 games remaining. But we've got to win those games. Any slip up tomorrow against West Ham and the door flies wide open for Liverpool to come in. And the good thing about this, not from my point of view, is the fact that I don't really want this as a United fan, but at least there's some excitement towards the end of the season. Someone here says, I remember Terry comparing AWB to Trent in the inverted role. So I didn't compare the two of them, so you get confused because GR, maybe, I don't know why you get confused. Maybe there's something, I don't know. You know, maybe you were drunk, maybe you were drinking. But I've said they're both improved since being moved into that role. Defensively, Trent can't talk to AWB. Offensively, as a playmaker, AWB can't even lace Trent's boots. But they're both used inverted, but they've got different roles within that position they play in. Same position doesn't mean same role. You know, there are some strikers that weren't the out-and-out goal scorers in teams. You had it. Firmino played the number 9 role, but he was more of a facilitator than the main goal scorer at Liverpool. That doesn't mean he isn't a number. It doesn't mean he wasn't a central striker like Haaland or a Harry Kane. AWB is being used invertedly. He's done a much better job there than when we were trying to use him last season as a marauding fullback trying to create. So their position is the same right now, but their role within that position is fundamentally different. And there's been no comparison by me of that. One is the superior defender. The other is the superior playmaker. And do you know what both managers are doing, which is smart? Is they're both using those players to the best of their abilities. in roles that suit their abilities now, rather than trying to make Trent a defender, which was catastrophic, or trying to make AW be a playmaker, which is embarrassing.